Hello, everyone. Welcome to Global One Voice Empowerment Network. This afternoon, we have a guest here with us, and that is Julius. He's a lecturer at Macquarie University, and he's here to share with us so much insights into personal finance and some practical tips for effective budgeting and saving. With the youth, we have a lot going on, and sometimes it's hard for us to do some saving or really understand about things to do with finance. And so today we are super excited because he's going to share with us a lot into those insights. So, Julius, you're most welcome. We are happy to have you here. Do you mind sharing with us something just basically about what you do?
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for having me this morning in Uganda and this afternoon in the United States.
Yeah.
My name is Julius Odida. As you made mention earlier on, I am a lecturer at Macquarie University Business School in the finance department. A little bit about my education background. I hold a bachelor's of business administration in the finance major as an option. Then I have a master's of banking and investment management, all from Macquarie University Business School. Yeah, that's about me, and I'm into consultancy of financial literacy and banking and investment consultancy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for and so I have some few questions because we're learning about personal finance. And so, why is it very important for young adults to prioritize personal finance, especially in terms of budgeting and saving? And how can early financial management influence their long term financial well being, basically?
Oh, thank you. This is an interesting question. Usually, before I start talking deeply into personal finance, the aspects of budgeting and savings, I
Yeah.
would want the audience to first understand what exactly we mean by finance or financial literacy in this case. First of all, when we talk about financial literacy, we are referring to the knowledge, the skills, and the confidence of you managing money well.
Yeah,
Because
that's
as
true.
we all know that money is a very, very important resource that we
Yeah.
need day-to-day business, day-to-day activities, both business and non-business activities.
Hmm.
So literally everyone needs money.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I can be as plain as that. So because when you have money, you are going to be able to realize your goals and needs. Okay.
Hmm.
And what can be some of these goals and needs that you will be able to realize? We talk about buying things to do with land, constructing a house for your family.
Yeah.
Uh, you'll be able to access both needs and wants. By needs, I mean these are things that you will have to, you cannot survive without them. Say, for
Mm.
example, accommodation, things to do with medication, clothing, and these most important needs that we need for our personal survival. Then, when we talk about wants, these are things that you can be able to survive and move on without them. Say, for example, entertainment, you want to have travel and adventure, etc. Okay. So,
Yeah.
when you have knowledge of finance, that is financial literacy, you will be able to manage money. And when you manage money well, that is when you're going to be able to achieve all this that I've told you. That is needs,
Yes,
wants,
that's
and
true.
then being able, yes, yeah. So having understood that, we need to know that when you are dealing with financial literacy, you need to first of all start by appreciating what vision you have. What is the long-term aspect that you're seeing in your life? 10
Yeah.
years, 20 years from now, how do you want to be? Okay, that's the vision.
Yes.
Then secondly, mission. What is the reason why you are doing what you are doing? Okay. Say, for
Yeah.
example, I want to, if in the next 10 years, I want to set up a very huge structure or an apartment for probably people to rent in, then
Yes.
what will I be able to do? Okay. Where am
Mm.
I? What have I done right now to ensure that I can be able to achieve that in the next 5 years to come?
Yeah.
Then you understand what your objectives are. What are these small things or the bit by bit things that you're going to do to be able to achieve the
Yeah.
long term vision that you want to see? Say,
Mm.
for example, I am going to save. I am going to work hard and make
Yeah.
money. I am
Mm-hmm.
going to ensure that I am critical with using my money. As we're
Mm.
going to explore the different savings and budgeting skills and techniques, I am going
Yes.
to have to be disciplined and have smart goals set such that I can be able to achieve them in future. Then, having understood your vision, your mission, your objectives, you need
Yeah.
now to get to know how do you manage your own money. Okay,
Yeah.
this is through the aspects of record keeping. You need to know how to budget. You need to know how to
Mm-hmm.
save, and
Yeah.
having saved, then you need to invest because just mere saving your money without having any
Investing is very
investment
important. That's true.
it means nothing basically. And I believe
Yeah.
in our next series we shall talk about investment into detail to understand the different aspects of investment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm.
going to your question of why is it important for young adults to prioritize personal finance? Uh,
Yeah. And how can like how can do it like
basically,
early? Like, why is it so important for them to start managing money very early at a very
yes,
young age, basically?
yes, at a young age, yes,
Mhm.
specifically. I believe I am one of the audiences here are the young people, the young generation that we are speaking to right now. So
Yeah.
once you prioritize your personal finance, particularly you do budgeting and saving, it is very crucial for
Mm.
you to help you in so many ways, as we shall be able to explain. First
Yeah.
of all, if you be able to have a proper financial discipline, you're first of all going to have what we call a build-up of an emergency fund. An
Mm.
emergency fund, money or funds set aside to help you during time of emergency. I'll
Yes.
give an example of COVID-19, yeah, where there was a worldwide lockdown, okay? Different people lost their jobs.
Mm.
Uh, as a result, it is only the emergency funds that could help people move on, yeah.
Yeah.
So those who did not build up an emergency fund, for example, in the sub-Saharan Africa, faced a lot of challenges because
Mm-hmm.
there were those who used to survive from hand to mouth, okay? Thy hand to
Yeah.
mouth and go work money and then
Mm.
come and eat. Go work money, come and eat. So
Mm.
these suffered a lot because the country was locked down and they could no longer access their workplaces where they would go hustle in simple terms and make
Yes.
something of the day. So
Yeah.
once you have a good personal finance management, you're going to be able to build an emergency fund
So like
where
here the
you
main thing is sorry for cutting you short, but like the main thing here is us like to have our, like we should know how to manage our money well, like management is the key here. Because like I have a question here in the comment section, somebody's asking is like, according to Uganda's economy now, what kind of business can someone invest in for the moment? Like right now, what can you advise if somebody wants to invest in something right now?
Oh, yes. Now, the investment, I'm wondering the kind of investment this person is talking about, but then let me just be general. If you want a money multiplier investment, that means you can put your money in a unit trust. Yeah. Once you put your
Mm-hmm.
money in a unit trust, you will be able to have this money accumulate interest over time. Yeah.
Yes.
Then there's a couple of different investment or business ideas. I am lucky to say that Uganda is actually a blessed country where so many businesses are able to be operated here. So I think in
Yeah.
our next session, we're sharing a couple of business opportunities that are here. The only thing is you need to do your feasibility study very well to see that the business that you're going to set is what fits in that particular sector or
Mm-hmm.
that particular area. Yes. So once you do the feasibility study very well, yeah, you can be able to start up business and then you'll be able to thrive. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it happens like, but like remember, it's kind of hard for someone to just kind of like start, into investment. Like you don't have any idea about money, you don't have any idea about management and finance, or you didn't even go to school, so it's kind of hard for you to just start investment. But then, like, what are some common mistakes people make when it comes to budgeting, and how can they avoid to overcome these challenges basically?
Oh, yes, thank you. So you made mention a very important point in that you may not
Mm.
be able to invest if you do not have the money, first of all.
Yeah, that's the
And
thing I'm trying to say. Yeah.
yes, this is actually built over time because you
So let's
cannot
say
say,
people in a rural village, like people who are in deep, deep villages, like how will they kind of start investing? Kind of.
oh, yes. So, first of all, this is actually a step by step process that you need to follow because I
Yeah.
cannot invest before having the money. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, depending on where you are, you should be able to, first of all, have the money. And how do you have this money? This money is got through saving. But then,
Yeah.
to answer the question of what are the common budgeting mistakes that people have, so we
Yes.
need to first start understanding basically or on a basic level what is a budget. Yeah, a budget is just basically a summary of your expenses and
Mm.
revenues.
Yeah.
By revenues, I mean these are cash inflows. Where is money coming into you,
Mm-hmm.
or where are you getting your money from? This can be from
Yeah.
your salary. That's if you work. It can be from your parents. If you are a
Mm.
student, it can
Yes.
be from your sponsors. Yeah. Now,
Mm.
the expenses, these are the cash outflows, the monies that you spend on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, a weekly or yearly basis. So
Yeah.
there is four mistakes that people make while doing their budgeting. In that, number one, people don't track their expenses. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
That's true. Mm.
we about something called impulse buying, whereby
Mm.
you're moving around probably on the streets, then you find
Yeah.
a nice shirt, then you move
Yes.
around, just move and straight away. It wasn't in your budget or your plan initially, but you simply
Mm.
moved there and saw it nicely, then you just buy it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
once you do not do expenses properly, then you're likely to overspend and have what we call unclear financial pictures. So that means
Yeah.
it's very important to track your expense. Okay. And then you need to create what we call accurate budgeting. Yeah. So
Mm.
that means the mistake that people make is creating what we call inadequate budgeting. So by
Yeah.
creating inadequate budgeting here, I mean you're creating a budget which is unrealistic. So that will not account for your expenses or the money that you
Mm-hmm.
earn.
That's very
Let's
true.
assume let's assume you earn a monthly salary of 1 million shillings, and then your budget is 3 million shillings. That's what you're
Yeah.
going to spend. That's quite ridiculous. So that
Mm-hmm.
literally
That's
means that the 2 million shillings you're probably going to have to borrow to be able to finance your budget. Yeah.
mm.
Just like when we talk about Uganda's budget, we have a 72 trillion budget. Yeah. But then out of the 72 trillion, it is only 31 trillion that the Uganda Revenue Authority is going to raise locally through
Yeah.
tax. So that means that the remaining about 42 trillion is going to be raised through debt and
Mm-hmm.
both domestic and financing. So
Yeah.
that means if you have an inaccurate budget, then you're going to have challenges whereby
Yes.
you're going to borrow in order to finance your budget in this case.
Yeah.
Another mistake would be you not prioritizing needs over wants. As I told you,
Mm.
that needs are things that we really require them for our day to day, or we must have
Yeah.
them, or they must have. And then the wants are they must not have. So
Mm.
if I actually prioritize wants. Let's say I maybe prefer going to fancy places. If I get money, I would like to go vacation, take a flight to the
Yeah.
United States, vacation here or there. That would, and I do that at the expense of having medical
Mm.
expenses, at
Yeah.
the expense of having education, the expense of having accommodation, etc.
Mm.
Then I am making a mistake in my budgeting. So
Yeah.
solution in this case, it is better that you prioritize and have your rent or
Mm-hmm.
what we call needs catered for, and then any other expenses can actually come
Yes.
for Yes. Then another one could be probably not building an emergency fund. We've talked about an emergency fund.
Yeah, and I think we
In the
talk about
world,
it still.
yes, in the finance world, we
Mm.
say that you should at least have enough money to be able to cater for your expenses between 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Let's assume I am a lecturer at Makerere University. Let's say we wake up tomorrow and I don't have the job anymore. Yeah. So I should be able to have funds that can be able to keep me or sustain my expenses for the next 3 to 6 months as I look
Yes.
for another job. Yeah.
Yeah.
COVID-19 came, that is between 2020 to 2022, and literally people lost their jobs. So it was up to them to save and have emergency funds to be able to facilitate and cater during such time of emergencies in this case.
Mm-hmm.
We need to actually build what we call an emergency fund to be able to cater for our day-to-day expenses, and then to be able to plan in accordance to how we should be able to do. And this can actually be done using several ways. You can use what we call budgeting apps,
Yeah.
or in simple, since I am speaking to both the locals and the advanced, you can simply write this in your book if you do
Mm-hmm.
not have the
Yeah.
apps.
Writing is basically can be applied anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, write this in your book. Have a 96-page book or simply 32-page book, and note
Yes.
down your expenses and your income. And whenever you make any expense, record it. Whenever you
Mm-hmm.
receive money, please record it down so that at the end of the day, you're able to balance your revenues and then your expenses and see if I am being extravagant, what could be
Yeah.
the problem. If I am not being extravagant and I'm within my budget, then well, kudos, well and good. You appreciate yourself for that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then
That's
you should be able to review and adjust your budgets according to the changing circumstances. Yeah.
mm,
There are periods of time when you're going to have to spend more probably on food. Say if you're a married family person, during
yeah.
holiday, the children are at home, then you must spend more on food. You may have to spend more on let's say, water or electricity because these kids are at school. So that means you
Yes.
need to. Then, if at all they have gone back to school, they're in boarding, then you're not going to spend more on food because you're simply left probably with a maid and the two of you at home. So you
Yeah.
should be able to add your expenses given the duration, and you should be able to be flexible enough because once you're not flexible, then it's going to be hard for you to be able to
Mm-hmm.
adjust that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Then
basically,
another, yes,
okay.
please.
No, I'm like basically you're saying like it's very important for mostly the young people to always do record keeping because sometimes it's just spending. We don't mind of writing the what we're spending. So like it's very important for us to always prioritize. Like whenever we are doing something, we should always do some good bookkeeping or record. And since we're in the era of technology, we have phones, we have these different apps, so we can always use these apps to always help us in budgeting.
Yes, definitely, because there is nothing that you're going to achieve if you do not keep records. You really have to keep records because records will not only help you for your own personal development, but it will be able to help you for future references. Yeah. So you 5, 6 years ago, 5, 6 years to come, you can be able to, refer to your records that you've kept for purposes of reference, and you see what was I doing 5 years ago, what was I doing 10 years ago, and that will be able to help you make a reference point. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing with us those insights because we always make a lot of mistakes when it comes to budgeting, and there's so much, it's doesn't stop from there, but like whenever like when you know that you're doing something wrong and then you're ready to change and be a better person, you can always learn and be this person like whom you want to see yourself in the future. And like right now, money is always the goal. It's always everything. So without money, remember, we can't do anything, like you said earlier. So it's always like very important for us to know how to manage the money that we have. So the next question is that what strategies and tools do you recommend for tracking expenses and managing day-to-day finances effectively? I know you talked about budgeting apps, so do you have other recommendations that you can share with us?
Yeah, thank you. So we can be able to use different strategies to be able to manage our day-to-day finances effectively. So one of the strategies could be you use what we call the 50 by 30 by 20 rule. So the
Mm,
50 by 30 by 20 rule simply means allocate 50% of your income towards
yeah.
necessary expenses. Yeah. So what are some of the examples of these necessary expenses? Number one, you could have things to do with rent or, yes, accommodation in this case, medication,
Mm,
education, clothing. That is 50%. Then
yeah.
uh, you could allocate 30% towards discretionary expenses. So
Yes.
what are the discretionary expenses that you can have? Things to do with holiday,
Mm,
uh, out, entertainment, yeah.
yeah.
The discretionary expenses, in this case, we call them the wants, basically, yeah.
Mm,
So you allocate 30% of the income that you
yeah.
earn in such expenses that you're going to have. Then the remaining 20%, please save and repay off your debt with them. Now you're
Mm,
going to ask, how do I save? That is a very serious question. Um, I must give this testimony because it will actually inspire somebody out there. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, there was a time I was having a very serious challenge with saving, and something came out on my mind. I'm like, I have a girlfriend. Why would
Mm,
I? Why can't I use this girlfriend to help me save? So what
yeah.
I did was, um, I went and registered a line, MTN Mobile Money. I got a line of
Mm,
MTN and got a small phone. Yeah.
yeah.
So what I did is I took the small phone and the line and gave it to her. I
Yeah.
said, please, phone, I'm going to keep sending a portion of my salary as saving to you on this line. And please, if I ask it, do not give it to me. you
Yeah.
know, so
Yeah.
that was saving. And I made sure that she kept on reminding me on a
Yes.
monthly basis. So whenever I receive money, she says, please, can you send us the savings? And we have it here. And
Yeah.
then I usually do consultancies outside, and you've been seeing my profile, etc. So when I get money, I usually inform her, you know what, I've gotten this
Yeah.
amount of money. Then she says, can you please send a half of it, and we save it. And
Yes.
this money has been accumulating from
Yeah.
2022, 2023, and the target is to save for at least 5 years, then make an
Mm-hmm.
investment out. So this is one other way you can be able to save. So have a saving strategy whereby you are limited from accessing the money. Okay,
Yeah.
you
And I know
know
like
that there is
everybody's way is kind of different, but at least get a way out there. Find a way how you can save. We are all different. We can all use different means, but at least like find something in a way of saving.
yes, because you might say, okay, if I save on my own line that I have access to the mobile money password or I have
Yeah.
access to the bank, I can easily go and withdraw. But at least
Yeah.
have a way how you can be able to save, and nobody will be able, and you will not have easy access to that money, because the
Mm-hmm.
challenge is be able to save, but how to but having access to the money limits you from
Yeah.
regularly saving. Then a simple way is what we call an envelope system, where you're
Mm.
going to divide your expenses into categories. Say, for example, rent,
Yes.
transportation, and then you place the corresponding budgeted amount into labeled envelopes. Say,
Mm.
okay, envelope is for my rent. This envelope is for my meals or my feeding. This
Yeah.
envelope is for entertainment. So have the envelopes placed there, then you can be able to just pick them and use them as and when the time comes and when you need them. Yes, so you can be able to use several tools. One of them is spreadsheet. You can have what you call a Google Sheet. This is
Yeah.
quite common, whereby you'll be able to use Microsoft Excel. There's LibreOffice. You can use a calculator to be able to track your expenses and be able to know that to know how you're spending. Today, if I go and buy this, I record this date.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, like you said
went
earlier.
and bought this. This is the
Mm.
money. Yes.
Yeah.
You can use what you call an automated saving tool. Say, for example, in your bank, you can get into
Yeah.
the bank and you get what you call a standing order, for example. You say,
Mm.
okay, this is my salary on a monthly basis. It will deduct automatically maybe 20% of the salary. If I earn
Yeah.
1 million shillings, it will deduct 200,000 shillings and put it into savings. Yeah. So that can be able to help you. You can use what you call budgeting apps, and these are many. There's what you call you need a budget, that is YNAB. You
Mm-hmm.
can use E, you can use personal capital. All these are apps that you can be able to use where simply insert in the figures of your amount of money that you earn in a month and put in
Mm.
your expenses. They'll be able to definitely guide you on how you can be able to maneuver around and budget and have your life a managed one. You can use digital tools or digital wallets in this case, which an example
Yeah.
could be the Apple Wallet. You can use Google Play. You can use Samsung Play for tracking your expenses and receipts in this
Mm.
case. All this will be able to help you and manage your budgeting and saving your money. And this will save you a lot because if you are restrained and okay, before I go into an expense, I need to first look at
Mm.
my budget. Do I have?
Yeah,
And
that's true.
what is meant for this, and you ensure that you spend on what exactly you're supposed to spend on. Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so these are really good tips that you're sharing with us. And for those ones following us right now, like if you have any question, please keep sending the questions and we'll keep on discussing on them. But like these are really good tools, basic tools. We all have phones. We're all in the era of technology. And so like if we really master these tools, it will always help us, like have this kind of like we form a very strong and a very good foundation with our finance, more especially when we are still young, because that's the foundation. And so the other thing is like, how important is it to establish an emergency fund? What steps can someone take to build one? I know you've been talking about it, and you talked about COVID-19 and how people, how some people managed because they had they had built an emergency fund. So like, how can somebody establish that?
Oh yes, thank you. Now, an emergency fund is money that you're going to use to help you during time of an emergency, basically. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Uh, an example of an emergency in this case, we talked about COVID-19. You can say you've got an accident and God forbid you really need a very expensive hospital treatment. You've
Yeah.
lost someone and you need to arrange for a burial. You need to organize and pay off some emergencies. So this is what an emergency fund basically does. So why is it important to build an emergency fund? First of all, if you're building an emergency fund, have this at the back of your mind. Yeah? Have it that
Yeah.
if today I don't have the source of income that I have today,
Mm.
say for example, I work and earn 1 million shillings at the end of every month. Yeah. So
Yes.
what if today I wake up and I no longer have access to earning that money? Then the question you should be able to ask yourself is, can I be able to survive between three
Mm-hmm.
to six months without a job?
Yeah.
So if today you cannot be able to answer that question, or if your
Mm.
answer is you cannot be able to survive between 3 to 6 months, then that means you don't have an emergency fund. Yeah.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I was interacting with somebody who is about 50 years old. This is somebody who has stayed alone for a long period of time, as you can know. So
Mm.
he told that an emergency fund is not funds from your investment. No.
Yeah.
Say by funds from investment, I mean you have your apartments and they are rented, you
Mm.
collect a money.
Yeah.
That's not an emergency. It is not money from your business. An emergency fund is money that you have saved and you have it in your bank account, or you have it into a short-term marketable security, say for example, a treasury bill, a commercial paper, a
Mm.
promissory note that you can easily be able to liquidate at any
Mm-hmm.
time and then you're able to and use it. So
Yeah.
emergency fund should be or money set aside that you can be able to access at any time and you use it during time of emergency. So
Mm.
what is the importance of having an emergency fund? Number one is financial security.
Yeah.
So you secure financially if you have an emergency fund, because in this case you're not going to be worried in case you get any challenge, your car breaks down, you're driving and your car breaks down, you're going to just simply get to your bank and have this money
Yeah. Mm.
and then repair your car. So there's that financial security that you're going to have if you have an emergency fund kept aside. Then we
Mm.
have a reduced stress. I want everyone to concur with me that if you do not have money, you are literally a very stressed person. That I can
Mm-hmm.
be able to write, you
Yeah.
know. And I believe, Rebecca, you could be able to testify to that as well.
Of course. Yeah, that's true.
So there is some bit of relief and reduced stress if you have the money. So if you
Yeah.
know that, okay, in case of any challenge, I have a backup of, say, about 10 million Ghana
Mm.
shillings or $2,000, $5,000 that I have it, that can be able to help to keep it, can give you peace of mind. Yeah.
Mm.
Then there is what you call reduction or avoidance of debt. Well, I
Yeah.
must say debt is not bad as people relate it to, because debt financing is good,
Mm.
because it only becomes bad if you do not use the debt
Mm.
for the right. By using debt for the right purpose, I mean to say, if you get money or let's say a bank loan, use it or invest it into a venture that will be able to yield you returns or profits for you to pay off the debts.
Yeah.
So if you use debt financing for purposes of investment to be able to yield you returns to pay off the debts, then that is good. Debt
Mm.
financing. But then if I go ahead and I get debt today, then I probably go into luxuries and forget that I'm supposed to pay back with an interest in this case, for Islamic banking with a profit in this case, then that means that I'm going to have a challenge. So if you have an emergency fund built aside or put aside, you can be able to avoid debt. So say for
Mm.
example, if I wake up and I want to have some bit of fun, I don't have to get into debt or get into borrowing in simple terms to finance
Yeah.
my holiday or a flight to the United States or to Dubai or probably to let's say for Uganda here, I go to East Africa, Mombasa for holiday. I need to use
Mm-hmm.
my savings emergency fund to be able to finance all that. So you're
Yeah.
going to avoid debt. You will have financial independence. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
then emergency fund, you're going to have to meet your long-term goals. Okay,
Yeah.
you will meet your long-term goals, and then the expenses that come in that are unexpected. So once you encounter unexpected expenses, then you will be
Mm-hmm.
able to use the fund to be able to cater for that. And then overall is peace of mind. Uh, and then you will avoid what you call dipping into your savings. Okay, because
Yeah.
an emergency fund is also different from savings. Your saving is money that you keep aside, a portion of your money that you're going to keep aside for a purpose. It can be to cater for emergency as one of them, but then you can keep it for investment purposes, most importantly.
Yeah.
Have an emergency fund or money that is set aside, you're going to reduce your dipping into your saving or having to encroach on your savings to solve a particular problem that is just simply temporary as such. And
Mm-hmm.
then the aspects to do with discipline and then financial stability. So, amongst others, those could be some of the benefits or the importance of building an emergency fund.
Yeah, I can say that, like, with saving, it's also very important. But like, if you have, maybe, like, let me say, if you have a saving account, what I can advise, like, you should also create another saving account, because you can easily have two saving accounts. So partly you're saving for your emergency funding, and partly you're saving for your investments or any other thing. But it's always very important for you to have like something catered for emergency. You never know, we are human, so things always happen to us. So like, it's always very important for you to save something, and then the other things, like, always like review and adjust. Because here is like, whenever you're creating, like we talked about creating budget, like you said earlier. So it's like you should always go review and also adjust on what you're supposed to save more on, or if you're going to, like, if you've already done a lot of investments, so like cater the other money for emergency, because anything can happen. But like, when you already have what can save you, you say, you want to go ahead and start looking for loans, because you already have something that is called emergency fund. And I can also say that, we young people, and so like the most important thing is, like, we should start small. Like, when you start small, don't just start by saving a lot of money, but like, when you start, that's why we're like, let's start early. Because when you start early, when it's like 10 years from now, you'll have saved a lot of money. But like, just start small. Whatever money you have, whatever income you have, just like start, just start small, and then by the end of it all, you have saved a lot, and a lot of money. So the other question is that, what are the key principles of successful saving, and how can individuals stay motivated to save consistently over time?
Oh yes, I think you actually preempt well, this part of the conversation here.
Mm,
First of all, what are the principles of a successful saving? Yeah. Number
yeah.
one, you should set a clear goal. What do you want to achieve? Am I saving to put to for an emergency fund, just like you've highlighted?
Mm-hmm.
Am I saving for retirement? Okay. Am I saving for a large purchase? Do I want to probably buy land or I want to build a house? So you should have a goal of why you're saving. Okay. I gave you an example of how I've been saving, having to deposit money every month on a line that I gave to my girlfriend. So it was for a 5 year period, and it
Mm,
is basically to help and say, okay, now after the 5 year saving, how much have I saved, and this is what I can be able to invest in. So that is the
yeah.
goal. So put a clear goal of what you want to be able to achieve before you even begin saving. Then,
Yeah.
second, you should be able to think ahead. Yeah? We have a challenge that most youth today want to have things achieved in the
Mm,
shortest period. You know, uh, the successful people that we have today were once small like we are today.
yeah.
I usually tell my students in class who admire me so much, they say, "Oh, sir, you are a very young person. You're lecturing at the university." I tell
Yeah.
them, "No, dear students, this is a
Yeah.
process by process. You need to get into your books and read,
Mm-hmm.
focus at school. Then, when you read and pass, and you're the best student, like I was, you perform very well, like I did. Then you'll have
Yeah.
a chance to come back to university and teach." So the same
Mm,
applies to you saving or
yeah.
saving and building a culture. Be able to start small, okay?
Mm,
Uh, Build on and ensure that you don't despise the small steps that you make, definitely in your saving journey. Then you can make
mm,
it automatic, make it automatic. Get into the bank and they have what we call a standing order into your account, such that there's a direct debit that goes into a savings pool of your fund
yeah.
every month. You know, that will make it much more automatic. Then, where it is possible, please avoid unnecessary expenses. this is a bit hard because of the nature of humans we are. But then you could consider uh, having to reschedule that expense that you've actually wanted to have it this month, if that is not in your budget. So you
Yeah.
could have it the next month, and then you have this budget for this month accomplished. So that means that you should be able to work slowly and process by process in order to be able to spend. So if you say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this month, I want to buy myself a pair of shoes. So do
Yeah.
not get a pair of suit with an additional money that you would have probably kept for saving. So plan
Mm.
for the suit, plan for the pair of suit in the next month. So that's what I'm literally meaning. Then
Yeah.
you should be manage what we call regular monetary
Mm.
go and see that you're saving and ensure that there is progress in your saving culture. In case where you feel deviating, make some bit of of improvements here and there.
Yeah.
Then it is
Mm.
actually advisable to stay disciplined. Okay, avoid dipping your avoid dipping into your savings or encroaching on your savings for
Mm.
non-essential expenses. The word
Mm.
is non-essential expenses.
Yeah.
For example, you've saved worth 2 million Uganda shillings. That's about $550, I can say.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you get into a shop, and then you or a supermarket in this case, and then
Mm.
into shop. You had planned to shop probably for 100,000 Uganda shillings. That's about $30. Then you end up saying, okay, I'm shopping for an additional 300,000 shillings. Then you go into your savings. That is what we
Mm.
call the money. So
Yeah.
stay within your budget. Do not encroach your savings for unnecessary expenses that are actually non-essential in this case.
Yeah.
Most importantly, my dear fellow young people, let's consider long-term investments.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I'm interacting with people, I usually advise them put your money into long-term investments,
Yeah.
whereby uh, you are able to earn and that is how wealth is basically built. Put into a long-term
Mm.
investment that will generate for you cash flows for a long period of time. Okay,
Yeah.
so literally,
Mm.
I'm meaning budgeting or an investment decision. So in this case, you could consider having investing in stocks, okay, or bonds in
Mm.
this case. You could consider into venturing into real estate. That is probably apartment building, having to build houses for people, etc. This will be able to generate for you cash flows or wealth that will flow in. When you invest into stocks, you're going to be paid dividends. Okay, that means
Mm.
you're going to buy. When you invest into bond,
Yeah.
that means you're going to earn interest onto your investment. So
Mm.
if you have money put aside, you can be able to buy either a stock or what we
Yes.
call the share companies, or you can be able to buy bonds, or you can be able to invest into real estate and you'll be able to earn
Yeah.
revenue flows into a long period of time. That's what will actually help you in generating wealth over a period of time, basically. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for sharing with us those key principles. They're really very important, and whoever is listening and whoever will watch this recording, please you should take this seriously because these are facts and they're not just coming up. He's not just coming up with ideas. These are really facts, and then if you follow them step by step, you will really see yourself in another level of investment. So, do you really have something else you wanna add to the audience? You wanna share with us?
Yeah, maybe lastly, I will talk about because somebody will say, I have no motivation to
Mm-hmm.
save, I don't have a motivation to save. But
Yeah.
then I want to give you tips of how to stay motivated to save.
Mm.
Number one, there is what we call positive attitude. This is very, very important.
Yeah.
Have a positive positive attitude. How do you build a positive attitude? You build a positive attitude by looking at yourself having
Mm.
achieved what you want to achieve now. Say, for example, I want to save to build a house. Okay. So
Yeah.
look at yourself having built a house and you're living in that house. That
Mm-hmm.
will give you motivation to save, you know.
Yeah.
So imagine picture yourself having built a house and you're living happily in that house. You're not paying a monthly rent. You're not going to have a landlord coming to, knock your door and disturb you. That
Mm.
alone will give you a motivation to save, and that
Yeah.
comes from the positive mindset. Then you should avoid what we call comparison.
Mm-hmm.
In
That's
most cases, we compare ourselves a lot. You look at somebody who has been around, somebody is 40 years, is driving an
mm.
expensive, is into his own house, and then you,
Yeah.
who is a 25-year-old person, you want to compare yourself with that person. No,
Mm.
that isn't your age category.
Yeah.
Stay on your own. Everybody has their own stages of achieving particular things in life. You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I might have probably started working at the age of 24 years, immediately after my university. But there is
Yeah.
somebody who is going to start working at the age of 30. So
Mm-hmm.
what I will achieve will not be the same as what you will achieve because you started
Mm.
working
Yeah. It's
much
earlier.
later than me.
Yeah.
Yes, I started in an earlier stage. So avoid
Mm.
comparison because you all have different points at which you're going to achieve in life
Mm.
and achieve
Yeah.
things in life. Then saving requires a lot of patience because it is a long process to save. So
Yeah.
you should not be discouraged, okay, by the
Mm.
short-term setbacks. At some point in time, you're going to save, and then you get an emergency, and you have to spend all the savings. Please
That's
get
true.
back and get back and you save. Continue
Mm.
saving. It is
Yeah.
a long-term process. As I told
Mm.
you, somebody you see has accumulated millions of dollars or billions of Uganda shillings has been patient enough to be able to save uh, and resilient enough to be able to get back on the drawing board even after making probably a loss or losing the
Yeah.
money, etc.
Mm.
One other thing is you can make it a habit, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because consistency is very key. So try to save each time of the month. And in this case, make it a point that I have to save no matter what.
Yeah.
I have siblings. I have a sibling who currently works. So he asked me a question that how do I save?
Yeah.
He told me I earn only 700,000 Uganda shillings, and that's very small
Mm.
money. How can
Yeah.
I be able to save? Then I asked him, what is 20% of 700,000 Uganda shillings?
Mm.
He calculated and gave me the figure. I said, okay, pick that and save. And assume that you are only working for the remaining balance, and that's your monthly
Yeah.
salary.
Yeah.
So if you have 1 million Uganda shillings as your salary, pick 20%, that is 200,000 shillings.
Yes.
Assume you're working for 800,000 shillings as your monthly salary.
Yeah.
Was a consistent habit to save 20%, no matter the condition you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Then it is good to celebrate a milestone that you've made, okay?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to keep on suffering and, I'm saving, I don't have anything to do, you're not dressed up
Mm.
well, you are not living, you're not taking yourself out once in a while, you're not
Yeah.
happy. No, we are not saying you should live a stressed life or a stressful life in this
Mm.
case. So
Yeah.
whenever you reach a certain saving goal,
Yeah.
reward yourself. Take
Mm-hmm. That's
yourself
true.
a treat. If you can take yourself out, treat yourself well, dress well, look well. You shouldn't show the world that I am saving, so I am miserable. No, that's not what we're preaching here. In
Mm.
fact, if you're saving, you should be able to live a life better off than any other person, you know.
Yeah.
So reward yourself. Uh, you should be able to remind yourself why you're saving. Okay,
Mm.
why I'm saving as an individual. For example, the reason why I'm saving could be I want to have a financial freedom. I don't
Yeah.
have to go to, just like I told my sibling, you need to have your own financial freedom where you do not
Mm.
have to ask me for money all the time. That's why you're saving. Okay.
Yeah.
So at some point in time, you don't need to actually keep asking for money from people. You are a
Mm.
college student. You know? If you decide to save, because I started saving when I was in my university,
Yeah.
whenever I was given money, say a 300,000 Uganda shillings upkeep for a
Mm.
semester, I would pick a half of it and save and say, I have 150,000 shillings.
Mm.
And that helped to be able to survive. There's a little bit of difficulty when you get into
Yeah.
life after campus.
That's true.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that amount of money that I saved over time helped me to be able to cope up with life after the
Mm-hmm.
university aside.
Yeah, that's what
So
saving
that
is
was
very
my
important.
goal.
Mm.
That was basically my goal. So you should be able to remind yourself why you're saving. Are you saving to have a financial freedom? Do you want to
Yeah.
do a dream? Okay, you want to buy something in the future, and
Mm.
then be able to really be happy and get motivated to save as such.
Yeah.
And it is always important to seek knowledge. Lastly, seek knowledge
Mm-hmm.
because we all need knowledge.
Yes.
Without knowledge, we won't be able to achieve. So seek
Mm.
better ways of how to be able to save. Seek ways of how you can be able to better your financial discipline. We are sharing.
Yeah.
I believe you watch this video. Learn more of how you can be able to be disciplined and manage your finances.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So those are the additions I needed to make on top of that.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. This has really been a very good discussion, and we hope we can always do more discussion on budgeting, on finance, and so on, and basically just the economy. Many things are going on, and I just want to end this discussion by saying that the ways that we, the young people, can do saving in this challenging time, like we've shared today, is that the first one is like creating a budget. If you've never thought of having a budget, please start today. Create a budget, set financial goals because you must have a goal, like you said. You must be knowing why you're setting this budget for, why you're saving, and like, is there something wrong? Like, is the reason as well, like we have to say, first of all, is like in life, things will always happen. Like we are humans and something will always happen. So always set some money apart to always help in those challenging times, and also like build an emergency fund. We talked about emergency fund. So if you've joined us so lately, like I'm gonna post this discussion and it's gonna be on all our platforms. So like basically go through it, and if you have more insights, if you have any questions, share with us those questions, and we'll be happy to come back and have more discussions. Then limit debts. I know right now the challenge is debts. For us here in the US, that's the main thing because with this, like, it's very hard. Like, tuition is very, very way too expensive. So you have to go to school, you must pay debts. People who are at the university, college, you really have to pay debts in order for you, like, to survive, in order for you to go to school and attend classes. So it's kind of hard to manage in between your debts, you work and stuff and other things, but like try your best and limit debts because you'll end up in debt that you can never, you can never pay back. And at the end of it all, even if you study, you're studying and you're paying back the debt. So it doesn't make any sense sometimes. And set an automatic transfers to your saving accounts because at least most people have got their saving accounts, but like let them be automatic and be consistent, like because you can easily forget. But like if you've set something like, at the end of this month I'm putting this aside, you won't be lazy and you won't forget because it's just gonna be automatically in your bank accounts. And what Julius has just shared with us right now is like educate yourself because education is the key. And since we're in the era of technology again, I'm gonna say that is let's like try to learn because all these stuff are online. Like Google art stuff and look for tips. educate yourself, because when you educate yourself, you have the power. You have the power to manage everything. When you have the knowledge, you have experience from different people, it will always help you to save. And at the end of it all, you're really saving something that will help you, instead of you like just asking for money from whoever, and people just throw bad words. But like when you save earlier, you help yourself in so many ways. And the last one that I can say for our discussion for today is like seek professional advice, because you can never learn alone. Even if you're going to search for this knowledge online, but seek for someone like whom you trust. Let them share with you their experiences. So thank you so much. I'm so happy that we're coming to the end of our discussion. I hope we'll still be having more discussion. Thank you guys. Bye.